Yeah, hi everyone. So yeah, we can start the session then. I can take the questions, so you can type your questions in the chat window so that parallelly I'll be answering the all questions. Yes, Neeraj, I have a question from email. Neeraj, that I am not able to import stats models library in Jupyter. First of all, Neeraj, so you have to, I mean, if you are not able to import, could you please let me know the error? So if it is like module not found error, so first you have to download that module and then you need to install it. So while downloading, you have to use like always Anaconda prompt. So don't try to download it from Jupyter Notebook. So I have a question from Vikas. Hi, I'm Vikas. So in my CAPFAIR prediction project, I have received two datasets, traincap.csv and test.csv. However, in the test.csv file, there is no dependent variable, so that I can compare my trained model with the dependent variable values and check out the error. Okay. So actually, so when the training data is given to you, maybe it may not contain the dependent variable where you have to find it out. So if you don't have that in handy to calculate the error, then what you do is within the train data, you try to get the try to divide the train data itself into some portions, and then you can calculate your accuracy on that, and you can provide the predictions for the just predictions for that data. So main difference between data singular and data plural. This question I have it from Deepak. So singular and data plural is nothing but if the okay. So now I think I'm audible to everyone. So guys, please raise your question again because I was explaining and I heard that you people are not able to listen. Yes, yeah. Please type your questions now. I explain about decision trees. So the thing is, I can give you the high level explanation about decision trees. Decision tree is nothing but when you want to go for any kind of algorithms or yeah. So it's like directly decision tree is one of the ML algorithms where you can go for either classification or regression. Okay, so when you have something to deal with classification, then decision tree will help you in a much more better way. And when you have the regression problem, then decision tree if you have outliers in your data, then it will affect the outliers. So basically before applying any algorithm, what you do is like simply just code and try to see the hyperparameters what are available for this model so that you can understand so how well you can tune your model, how well you can write everything about it. So in detail, yeah. See, first of all, I can say if you wanna know in detail about decision trees, please listen to the video once, which is provided, and then if you have any queries, then you can ask. Why it is required to convert one data type to another? Because see, I have this question from Nikhil. Nikhil, data type is like always a primary thing. Let's suppose you have one data type with a variable called like age. Age is always a numeric variable, right? So let's suppose if you have given this as variable as string, then there is a possibility that people can also enter their names instead of age. So when you're doing any calculations with age, let's suppose like you're trying to add all the variables, then obviously that will create an issue. So you are trying to add string values instead of integers. So that is a thing. So and Nagashri, hello sir, started project, need your guidance. I was given, standard her customers transaction project. Could you please specify what kind of guidance that you wanted from the project, Nagashri? So from the Sundar. Deveshri, I am on the basic statistics. From Mukesh Nara to all participant attendees. Okay, can you explain about ARIMA algorithm? From okay, thanks. Okay, so basically, actually, the thing is, the idea about this session is, when you're going for any kind of algorithm and any kind of views, then what we expect you first is that please go through the material which you have, and within the material, if you are not able to understand, then I can explain you the points individually instead of like entire algorithm. And I am training a Keras regressor. First shot a neural network facing Keras regressor object, no attribute model. So actually, can you please specify, I mean, what is your contest? So to build this Keras regressor, if you're saying that, okay, object has no attribute model, it means that either if you're using the latest version of Python and either in R, what people have done, they have modified all the attributes. Let's suppose in earlier versions where in one package some functions are there, but now these functions are either merged or like moved to another attribute. So that's why, so you just need to align with your versions. All the latest versions of R in Python really requires so when you're going for any package, so which is compatible with other versions, when you're going with the latest version, please be like search for whether that particular function is available or not in that particular uh, package before you go for it. Why to compare the data with different algorithm to check the error? Why to compare the data with different algorithm to check the error? So Shravan, the question is here. So maybe it's like you're building a different algorithms for. Suppose if you have a regression problem, then you can go and build linear regression or decision tree, random forest, and so on. The algorithms which you wanted. See, some of the algorithms recently developed algorithms are there, right? They will, they themselves will handle the hyperparameter tuning and everything. In that case, they'll try to reduce the internal errors and everything, and they'll try to provide you the more updates. So it's like, even if the so if you take any like bagging or boosting techniques, so if you take boosting techniques, what it will do is, first it will go with like weaker to stronger. So first it will identify the weaker case, so based on that it will learn something, and then go on build the stronger networks. So like that, so that is why we build multiple algorithms. Even it's not only that reason, other reasons are like, if you take linear regression for regression problems, so especially linear regression is for when you have the strong linear relationship between dependent and independent variable, and linear regression really works better rather than a decision tree random forest, where you will find the overfitting problems and underfitting problems and all. So that's why we build more algorithms than we should. I mean, then we will, come up with an approach. So which one we need to go? Uh, Tejash. So if you have a huge data having more than 300 variables of size, say more than 20 GB of data on cloud, and you just wanted to get the column names of the data set, how to do that? So it's like wherever, if you I mean, if you want to really view the column names of any data set, first you have to load the data set, and the data set dot columns will give you, like if you are loading the data set into a variable called df dot columns will give you the data, column names. So but here I think you're more specific about the size of data, right? And number of variables. So even if that is the case, when you are going with any cloud approach, so cloud is, I mean, so when you have the big data, I mean, this is kind of problem that we call like big data or cloud. When you go for it, so the results set will be faster. So that's why we are going for those kind of platforms. You don't need to worry then whether it takes more time or less time. I actually just joined data scientist course on Saturday, and I was wondering how to approach the course. I mean, like we have the videos available online, so that I just started watching videos and solving assignments. And when I encounter an error, asked out here. So do we have to use external sources for learning? Of course, yes. Yes, I am able to see the chart now. Okay, I'll be starting. Okay. RMSE can be used for classification also. It's like from the queries from PAT, so it cannot be used. RMSE we cannot use it for the regression thing, so you cannot find it out. Our loops can our hello. Inferential statistics, can you please explain how is it different from descriptive statistics? Inferential and descriptive statistics, descriptive statistics is understanding about your data. So based on the past data, how well you can understand your patterns and everything, that comes under descriptive statistics. Inferential statistics means, so you are able to make some inferences out of your data. So like prediction of something, clustering of something, all this comes under inferential statistics. So that is the main difference between that inferential and descriptive statistics. And then, guys, so if at all I missed any question, please try to post it again. So, okay. So can you please share some external sources to learn? For example, Udemy, DataCamp, DataQuest, Udacity, and extra. So actually, this question is from Ankit. Ankit, Udemy, DataCamp, DataQuest. See, all are like different learning platforms. I think Advisor is providing you the more reasonable content and videos apart from them. But when you come to external resource, so external sources. So instead of going for content, so where Advisor is providing you, so you can go for the articles, so real-time articles. Suppose that when you are doing any kind of project, so you can try to search for that particular business. Okay, so how it is operating and how the business firm is operating such a kind of businesses and all, and some of the methods which we cannot tell you in videos and all. Okay, real-time problems and all. So you can explore. So either in Analytics Vidya. So Analytics Vidya articles are very good. You can go for that, and as well as the uh, towards datascience.com. So that also helps you a lot. So this contains articles, they have done the real-time analysis and all. And if you want to practice the real-time problems and all, then you can use Kaggle also. Kaggle is the competitive website which can give you the more information. Then I have another question: how to use group by function in R? So generally, group by, so syntaxes and all you can directly, fetch it from videos or how to use the group by function. But when will we use the group by function is that, so if you wanna do particular operations based on a particular, let's suppose you have a variable department and salaries, two columns are there. So if you wanna find out the department wise salaries, so what you do is, if you have 10 departments, so you do group by and you will apply the arithmetical operations on the salary part. How to connect to any public API using R? So you can connect to any public API using R. But first of all, you have to establish the connection. See, it has many ways. So if it is a secure API or like even if it's a public also. So if it is a secured and so it also depends on your environment, whether it is Windows or like whether Linux, if you are using Linux, Windows, and all. So the primary thing is that when you want to connect to API, so you have to have the service in your machine. So if if it's a key-based service or keyless service, so if it is key-based service, then you have to have the key to connect to the public API. So if it is a keyless service, so you you don't need to have that. I actually just joined the data science course on Saturday, and I was wondering how to approach the course. Okay, so the only way is first start building, like step by step, like watch your videos, then solve your assignments. If you have any if you encounter any kind of errors, then please do ask here. And if you want any external resources also, you can check. You can directly check in Google or like some of the data science platforms which are available like Analytics Vidya, Toast Data Science, and everything. And can you please explain the first project in the CSV files? The variables are named variable 1, variable 2. Could you please explain what is the project about and how our documentation should be? Can you please tell me what is this first project? I mean, referring to. Could you please explain what is the project about and how a document? See, can you please specify the context from? This is a question from P210. Can you please specify the project so which you are talking about? How to calculate collinearity? Collinearity is nothing but see calculating the linear relationship between two variables. So we just need to look at like, so if the two variables are collinear, you can tell based on the Pearson correlation matrix, or you can also say by doing it heat map and everything. And the next question is, so the collinearity, yeah, as I told you that you can calculate it from Pearson correlation coefficient, or you can also see in heat map. So how how the collinearity exists between two variables. And the next question is, well, I'm into basics of statistics. We could see there were many calculations for covariance calculations. Is there any tool under working environment? So basically, you don't need to calculate by using any kind of formula or something. So there is already, so covariance, you can also find it from, if you're using R and Python, there is direct functions are available in math for covariance. RMSE can be used for classification also. I don't understand your explanation. Can you explain? See, RMSE is nothing but root mean square error. Root mean square error is not. It is so the root mean square error is it's a difference between actual value and the predicted value, right? So if it is a numeric value, let's suppose my predicted value is 10, okay, and my actual value is 14. So the difference between the actual value and the predicted value is 4. Okay, so like this way we'll take each and every value error, and then we do the sum of the squared errors, and then you do the RMSE for this error. So this is possible if the target variable is a numeric variable. Let's suppose if your target variable is a a categorical variable, which you can call the problem as classification. Let's suppose I need to predict a class, so there are 3 classes. One class is platinum customer, gold class customer, and the other customer, maybe whatever. So if it is a platinum customer and you are predicting as a gold customer, so your prediction is gold customer, actual value is the platinum customer. So is there any way that you can do a difference here? So that is why you cannot find the RMSE value. Okay, RMS is the root mean square value, and it is the numeric value which you can calculate it from the numeric variables only. You cannot differentiate, or you cannot do any difference between any categorical variables at all. So hope it clears. And also the material under recorded session, there is not that much information for understanding the concept. Please let us know any books or materials. Okay, I'll suggest you some books, Divashri, at the end of this session. Okay. How to connect to an API using R language. So if you want that, Tanya, Shiva, are you referring the exact syntax that you wanted, whether in R or Python, or can you please specify this? Are loops covered in this training module? If not, where is the best place to get trained? Yes, of course, loops are like basic building blocks for any kind of programming language, and they must be covered under this. How will we get the corrected assignment? I think you can get the corrected assignment. when you'll be having like columns like where your positives and negatives and your overall reviews there, you can view your assessment details there. Once you submit your assignment, I think it will be reviewed by mentor. So once they provide the score and comments, then you can able to see. Santander customer transaction. Uh, I have a question from B210. I think you are referring this project, right? Santander customer transaction project. Uh, actually, I will get in touch with this, get in touch with you regarding this project, because right now I don't have the problem statement handy regarding this Santander customer transaction, what exactly that you are referring. But basic thing is, when you are submitting any project, or like when you are going with any project, see, first of all, you have to identify the proper data variables for your problem statement. So then, you have to explore based on the past data that you have and try to provide the conclusions. So what are the conclusions that you are able to make out based on the past data that you have? And when you're going for any kind of prediction, then try to go for best method, whether it's a classification or regression. And then please note all these points in your report. I have to attend the bike renting project this Saturday. How should prepare any chips? See, I mean, so if you're going for any kind of live session, basically, that to bike renting project, yes. So any project, so not only bike renting project, any project, the way that you have to, first you have to break the problem statement into multiple parts and go and check the, in detail part of it. If you take bike rental projects, it's like they'll be asking you, to judge based on global settings and environmental settings. I mean, seasonal settings and environmental settings. So you can, try to break down the problem into multiple parts. So what are the global, environmental variables? What are the seasonal variables? So how well this variable is affecting on this, particular thing. So instead of directly, building up the graphs and then directly going with the model, so try to observe based on your data exploration. Suppose if you are exploring something, if you are drawing some graph, then try to put some conclusion there. So what is the conclusion that you get out of it? So like that, when you do that basic data exploration, so try to make all the conclusions, and when you are inferencing something, try to have that inference with you, okay, and with the proper explanation. So and then, so when you are building up your model, so what are the variables that you have used for the model? So if you are eliminating any kind of variables, try to be with the proper justification. So why you are eliminating the variable? So if you are trying to derive some other variables, so based on the existing data, so you have to explain, okay, why your existing data is not suitable for your model. So in what way it is getting improved? I mean, when you are creating any other variable, in what way it is getting improved your model accuracy and all. So those and all you can prepare, and you can also suggest what is the future scope of this project. So like that, if you can prepare for your project, then that would be great. VIF is nothing but variable inflation factor. RMSE is, I mean, evaluation metrics used only for regression problem, not for classification ones. Yes, it is only for regression problem and not for classification ones, as I told you the example also. So this is the difference between actual and predicted value, where you cannot do it for classification problem. You cannot find a numeric value for that. So that is why you cannot apply. Is it necessary to learn Python programming? For example, writing programs to make a calculator, remove spaces from a sentence, capitalize the first letter of each word in the sentence. Such a kind of questions that are logical. I hope you understand the questions. Isn't it? Okay. Yes, it is. I mean, it will be, we should learn the basics of the every programming language. So all these are like a common, if you take any programming language, there are some certain common basics. So I don't ask you to go for, okay, learn the hoops concepts, then only you can learn the data sets and everything. But the basic building blocks of any data science is like, I mean, not only for data science, any kind of programming language if you take. So first you need to understand the data types. So, and you should be able to be in a position to perform operations on these data types. So either it is a string, these are the basic data manipulations. So you have to know all these things at least. Not the very big programs, I don't think, but yeah, this knowledge is really required. What is the, how to code to skip any row of given data in our programming languages? So this question is from VIS. I think this is the short name. Okay. So in order to skip any row in R programming, when you're loading it into data frame directly, so you do have an option of called skip, or else what we do is you just directly load the entire data into data set, and then you can manipulate your rows based on the rows index. Also, you can eliminate the rows. You know. Can you please explain the first project since the CSV in the variables are named as variable 1, variable 2? Could you please explain what is the project about, what should be our approach, and how our documentation should be? Projects and tender customer transaction. Yes, can you please? I'm sorry that I'll be on hold for a minute and I'll resume it again. Hi guys, sorry for the interruption. So B210, can you please also post the problem statement? So what exactly the problem statement is, because I don't have the problem statement in handy. So if it would be great if you can give me the problem statement, what exactly it is and what you are expecting. So I know that you are expecting how your approach should be. But can you please give me the basic problem statement of this Santander customer transaction? So I have to attend the bike renting project mock interview this Saturday. How should you prepare? Any tips? So I have already given the tips. What is what is the Gantt chart or lift chart? So actually, what I can take is, so if you want me to explain the entire thing of what exactly it is, then I can explain you. But or else, if you want me content, then I can give you the content. Or else, if you don't understand anything in Gantt chart or lift chart, then I can help you with that. But you want the entire explanation? Please confirm PAT. So if you want the entire explanation, then I can give you, one table. Or else, if you have a specific question regarding this Gantt chart or lift chart, then I can give you that. So hi, Deepak here. I got one question in advanced analytics module. Is it like strong? Is it like storing the data frame with an index key? Can you please explain the part? Advanced statistics module. It's like storing the data frame with an index key. Can you please specify that exact thing? I think this question is from Debarpan Naha. So can you please specify, like, I mean, so I didn't understand your question. So can you please specify in detail? Will a data scientist use any of the big data tools like Hadoop or Scala or something? If yes, which should I learn? I think this question is from Abhilash. Abhilash, yes, you can use, you have to learn the big data tools like Hadoop and Scala and all. So the thing is, when you are going for big data environment, so it's like, Hadoop cluster will be there where it is distributed with, distributed data. When you want to input the data and when you want to get the data results out of that environment and all, then you have to learn. I think so. If advisor is providing, yes, you can learn. But if you want, specific, then there is a separate big data analytics course which you can learn it either from Udemy, or like you can go for there are some other websites also apart from Udemy. I think I'll try to recollect the website names, so I'll provide you that information. Why why should highly correlated variables remove from dataset? This question is from Pratik. The highly correlated variable in the sense, so you are replicating the same information multiple times, Pratik. It's like, let me tell you. So if your data is having the variables like date of birth and so you're trying to derive on date of birth and age also. These two variables you have in your data. See, the thing is here, date of birth. If you know the date of birth, we can calculate the age till today, which means that, so date of birth and date. So the date is nothing but the extracted value from the date of birth. Either you can keep this value or this value. Let's suppose if you want to keep these two variables. So if you find out the correlation, definitely there will be very high correlation between the date of birth and as well as the date, age. So when you're trying to keep these variables, then what you do is, if you are trying to change one variable, automatically other variable is also getting affected. So based on which your model is also going to be affected. So that is why we remove highly correlated variables. Okay. What are the null and alternative hypotheses in the chi-square test? So null and alternative hypothesis is nothing but whatever we assume. Let's suppose. So if I take any problem statement, 2 is an even number, or 2 is so whatever the problem that you're supporting, that you will take it under the null hypothesis, and the contradiction of this statement, that you will take it in alternative hypothesis. Let's suppose so my prediction is that 2 is an even number. So this is the conclusion that I would like to make. Then what I will take, the null hypothesis is 2 is an even number. So but alternative hypothesis is 2 is the odd number. So based on the p-value, so if you get your p-value around 0.5 and above that, then yeah, your null hypothesis is passed. So if not, your null hypothesis is failed and alternative hypothesis is passed. So that is what it is. What is the measurement metric for categorical data like RMSE is used for numeric data? So for categorical data, we can draw the confusion matrix. Okay, so based on the confusion matrix, where you can find your true positive rate, false negatives, and everything, and sensitivity, accuracy, okay, all these kind of things, you can find it with the confusion matrix for categorical data. From Ritu, Rahul. So H0 is no relationship between two categorical variables. H1 is there is a relationship between two categorical variables. I mean, so it's like it always depends your null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. You can always try to change it. So even if it is a whatever the test that you are doing, whether it's a chi-square test or whatever the test, so in general, null and alternative hypothesis will be like that. One is supporting statement, another one is the contradiction to that particular statement. So based on the value that we are taking, then p-value or whatever the value, the reference value, then we can decide so which one is passed. Why do we go for the least square estimation method to implement linear regression? How it is different from gradient descent algorithm? Least square estimation is nothing. I mean, so linear regression is implemented based on this method only. So it's like see, it will what it will try to take is, linear regression is nothing but, let's suppose if we plot the values, okay, then always it will be a straight line, right? So with an interceptor. So if you want to predict anything with a linear regression, ideally the thing is, if you drag that line from that point to another point, let's suppose I have a data points, 10 data points with me, and in the graph I have plotted the graph for this 10 data points. So if I wanted the prediction for the 20th data point, it's nothing but we have to drag this line from there to the 20th point. I mean, even if you predict the value or if you do anything, so it is nothing but a dragging method. So least square estimation is the one of the popular statistics method. Okay, so what it will try to do is, so it will try to cope up with the I mean, so based on the values that you are having, it will try to match the values in between your bounding box. Okay, if you take any bounding box. So if you can try to build the least squares. I mean, it's like based on your approximation error, you will try to reduce this and try to build one method. So ideally, if you're drawing a straight line, it is not that straight line. Okay, if you're trying to put in your hotspot area, so that hotspot will make difference between this least square method and all. Please do not ask any more queries as of now. Please let the mentor answer all the questions. We'll have session every day, so please do. Okay. And didn't understand, what is, okay. Didn't understand what is lift. Lift is nothing but it's a measure of effectiveness. So if you are like build any predictive model, okay. So it's a, what is the see what is the result that is obtained, and so once you predict the value, what is the result, and what is the original value. So that's where it's a measure of effectiveness of a predictive model. So it's a ratio. So this is exactly, if I have to say, the ratio between the results obtained with and without prediction model. So that's what I can say. That is the lift. And problem statement for Santander customer transaction. In this challenge, we need to identify which customer will make a specific transaction in the future, irrespective of amount of money transacted. So number of attributes. What is number of attributes? You are provided with the anonymized dataset containing numeric feature. Variable set, extra set, binary target column, and a string ID. So the task is to predict the value of the target column in the test data set. So is it like customer will make a transaction in the future or not? So if I see, as per the problem statement, so how we can say based on, the problem statement clearly says that based on the transaction history of the customer, so they might have provided you the past transaction details of each and every customer. So basically, whether he's going to do any transaction in future or not, okay. So it also depends on your, the data. Like let's suppose, if you're taking, transaction in the sense, it is not only like whether you withdraw or deposit. So there are multiple cases like, if you are, there are some people who what they do is they'll deposit their money and they'll keep it as like that. So if they don't need any, so if you have it for the specific, range of for 5 to 6 years, the data, I'm not sure, but I'm not sure about this data. For how many years it has been given. In general, if you take like whether the customer is going to make any transaction or not, what we do is we'll try to observe the past transaction pattern of this customer. Okay, so let's try to divide the data into 3 months period, like for each and every quarter, how many number of transactions this guy has done. If you take any particular ID for a particular person, then okay, I'll try to calculate in this way. So based on the given data, what we can get is, so we can divide the data into quarters, and in each quarter, how many number of transactions that we can, how many transactions that we can do in each quarter. Based on the past data, you can calculate it. So once you have the data with you, and then you can pass this information to your model, and then okay, you can get the, you can build a logistic regression or something, so which can give you the probability that whether it's going to give you or not. Didn't understand what is lift. So actually, I think PAT is saying that didn't understand what is lift. PAT, I will try to provide you one material link. Okay, you can go with that. Okay, I'll share that link with you, so that it has a detailed information, what is lift and some examples of the lift. Okay, can you please explain the variable inflation factor and its use? See, variable inflation factor, which you can find it using, when you're going for logistic regression model, so you will have this variable inflation factor. it's like you can understand the importance of the variable. So there are multiple methods to know variable importance techniques and everything, but I'm sorry. So it is variable inflation factor in the sense. So let's suppose I have built the model with 10 variables. Okay, I have built the logistic regression. Then you will get the variable inflation factor, one variable inflation factor. So try to remove one variable or add another variable or try to manipulate the existing variables, then build your model and calculate the VIF. So then you will observe so whether the VIF is getting improved or not. So if it is improved, if you suppose if you have removed one variable out of the 10 variables and it is improved, then what it can say is okay, your the particular variable is like important variable, so it is contributing more in your thing. So like that, you can calculate it for logistic regression models.